All the ideas, all the knowledge that you have is stored in your subconscious. I will admit my mistakes as well, as I'm very weak in reading. I'm not a big fan of reading. Your brain is very smart. Your brain does not want to waste time. Your words are just words. Even a dog barks. So do you think a dog is a good speaker? No, because his words are just barking. He does not actually have any knowledge behind the words. He's not sharing knowledge. So if I am speaking here and you are not learning from my words, I'm just like a cat who is meowing, or I'm just like a dog who's barking, because you are not learning something from me. That is the difference between a good speaker and a speaker who is just speaking. So input is really necessary for that reason as well. Let's go towards reading. It will allow you to be more creative. It will allow you to gain more knowledge. As I said, without knowledge, words are just words. They have no meaning. They don't have any greater purpose. Greater purpose, by greater purpose I mean something bigger, something more necessary, something, something spectacular, in my opinion. So if you are not learning, your words will just remain words. So reading, it allows you to gain that important, as Sir Hamid may have also discussed it. He talks to me about that frequently as well, as I'm very weak in reading. I'm not a big fan of reading personally. I will admit my mistakes as well. But the thing is, even though I'm not a fan of it, I forcefully make myself read. Because when you are reading, a lot of times what people say is, I forget about it. You never forget about it. For example, even if you read the Quran, when you start reading the Quran and you read, for example, you're reading one surah again and again and again and again, when the one ayah or one, for example, a few words or a few phrases are same as that surah in another surah, you will fly across it. Have you experienced that? You don't need to read, you just fly across it. Why? Because your brain is used to the pattern. Your brain has made a connection. Your brain, it works like a link. For example, I'll show you guys. This is your brain. So there are a lot of smaller links. These are neurons. So all of these neurons fly. And these neurons are connected to other neurons. So for example, in this scenario, there are more than 37 trillion neurons, by the way. 37 trillion. When you are learning something, your brain is very smart. Your brain does not want to waste time. So for example, you are learning something and you're learning like this. For example, your brain, your logic is English. So your connection will be language, then your connection will be learning. So चिता सुख the English हुई, तब ज़हन के directly राजी English, language, American. These things will come. All of these similar traits of that language will flash in your mind. This is American and this is English. This is language and this is English. So what will happen is, because your brain works wirelessly, it's not connected by wires or anything. What happens is, when you are repeatedly going through this path, your brain will understand, okay, if I go here and directly make a shortcut, that is easier. And that is what happens during reading Quran. Your brain directly makes a shortcut that, okay, this means this. When you are reading this word, you should pronounce it, you should say it in this way. Same goes for English language. You remember the phrases, and what happens is, when you are not working, when you are not speaking even, and you are randomly just talking one day, suddenly something will come into your mind. Oh, I read once in a book this thing happened. All the ideas, all the knowledge that you have is stored in your subconscious, in the back of your mind. It's not in the front of your mind. And what happens is, when you read books, when you read a lot of them, those things, when you are talking, randomly come into the front of your brain. This happened the other day as well. When I was sitting here, Sir Hamid was saying that how when you are giving a lecture, you get ideas. You are getting constantly new ideas, and sometimes you go into a different path where you start thinking, how did I even go there? Because your brain, it is constantly making new ways, new paths. For example, your path is there, so you go this. You don't go in a straight line. Because your brain is making new ideas on the spot. And that is the big issue of speakers. We cannot stick to one topic. So as I was saying, reading, it's really important for that reason as well. When you are talking, all of the ideas that are in the back of your head, they come to the front. And that is why when you are, for example, you are free. Do you know one of the biggest issues why we are so poor? Not poor in terms of money, not in terms of money wise, but intellectually we are poor. Do you admit we are poor intellectually?
We make our mindset like that.
Exactly, our mindset is like that. We are constantly either with friends, either inside our phones, our brain is occupied by our phones, or the third thing, which is that we are doing some kind of bad activities that are not helping us.